Hello, one and all. This is my review, reaction, and cut discussion of Dr. Stone's Science Future Part 2, Episode 12. And I'm so excited for the end of the second part of the three-part final season of this series. And you might be wondering, hey, Justking, if you're so excited, why is this video a day late? Well, basically what happened was I got really busy over the last few days, so it wasn't essentially until I went to bed last night that I thought to myself, hey, was today Thursday? And then I realized, yes it was. Dang. I am so sorry about that. I felt so guilty about that, and honestly, I almost recorded this video at 2 a.m. just so I could fix all that, but that would have been crazy. My family was sleeping, so I decided not to do that, and instead I'm recording right here, right now, and should hopefully be able to get it edited, uploaded very quickly. But anyway though, so last we left off, Suka spent 5 freaking years trying to revive everybody. I know there were some huge online people like, oh my god, she was alone for 7 years. No, she wasn't. She was alone for 5 years. The first 2 years were where she was petrified. Somehow people seem to think that Senku knew how long Suka had been petrified before she woke up, which, yeah, there is no way he'd have that kind of knowledge at his disposal. He was counting 7 years total. That's all the data he had to work with right there, so yeah. 5 years alone, trial and error, over and over and over again, trying to find a solution, trying to find a way to wake everybody up, and now she has finally freaking done it. Thank freaking God. So let's get started. Let's see, the reaction of everyone else to older Suka and the reaction of all that she has done. I'm very excited for this. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Also love the cloak. Absolutely love the cloak Senku has on him. That is Suka's cloak. That was her way of, protecting him, of covering him. And it's just such a sweet gesture. I think he actually keeps wearing that for the rest of the series, if I remember correctly, which, love it. Absolutely love it. But also, was Suka still sleeping in that, little thing all these years? Because I don't know if her big body would have really fit in there without just, being really curled into a ball. And I say that as someone who sleeps curled into a ball. Love this. I absolutely love this moment. I mean, in the manga, there was something similar where he's, looking at the method she used to make the rattle float, and he's like, oh, wow, you did this on your own, good for you. But here, this is really a quiet moment of reflection for Senku. He's looking out, he's looking at everything Suka has had to do by herself for these last 5 years. And he is just blown away. And it never really comes up in the manga, but I do think he is certainly feeling a certain level of guilt over what he forced her to do. I mean, they didn't really have any other option in the moment, but still, he condemned her to 5 years of complete and total isolation, of having to literally rebuild civilization by herself. That's that's gotta weigh heavy somewhere on his conscience. She's got freaking... Oh, okay, she has a... Oh, no, he's thinking of his own house. I was gonna say, she has spears, she built a different house. No, this is Senku. This is what he did by himself for, what was it, a year? Was it Senku alone for a year before he woke up Taiju, or 2 years? I think it was a year, so... I mean, Senku, probably more than anyone else in the entire world, has a fairly good idea of what she went through. And even then, she went through it so much worse than he did. He had the full power of science. He had a relatively adult mind. She was a freaking 12-year-old girl with almost no education. Just whatever it is she's managed to glean from Senku over the few years she's worked alongside him. That's it. Oh, God, I love that. He was just really reflecting on that. It was such a great way to open this episode. So good. But yeah, now we're focusing on the field. I do love that they have... I mentioned this last episode. It wasn't a manga, but the whole field getting washed out wasn't in the manga, and it was such a great addition to the anime, just showing how it is she failed and had to start over, and just the process again and again and again. Oh, so much effort, so much effort. Yeah, just trial and error. That's science, you know? You fail, you try again, you fail, you try again, over and over and over again until you eventually find a solution that works. I do love, if you keep at it, you know, that is, it's perseverance. What she did was impressive, not because it was hard or difficult, but because it required perseverance, because it required her to keep trying again and again and again until she finally reached the solution. Also, I love the mini transition. I wish we could have seen more of this Suka right here. She looks so adorable. Oh, God. But no, now she is like almost a full-grown woman, and she's gone through puberty and everything else in complete and total isolation. Not bad, Suka, not bad. Yeah, girl, you did it. You actually freaking did it. Also, I do want to point out, in the manga, he actually says, you did good, and not just not bad. I feel like you did good is probably better, you know? Like, yes, she did. She very much did good. She did something that is insanely just is insane. Utterly and absolutely insane. Good for her. That's all she wanted. She just wanted to be praised. She just wanted to be told she did a good job. She wanted all of the effort she put in to be rewarded. Smart move! Very, very smart move. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but you know, she may have been more tempted to wake up Chrome or Kohaku because those are the ones she is closer to, but Senku is the only one who can actually wake everyone else up very quickly, so obviously he is the much better choice. Also, I think I failed to mention this, but we are on chapter 197 right now. I'm not sure how much we're going to get through here. It is last episode, but there's like 3 different points they could end off on in the next like 4 chapters, so I'm very curious about that. I mean, they could skip a lot of content just to end on a really dramatic moment. Well, not dramatic, but a really cool moment, or they could end earlier. As it is right now, they are taking their time and really going through, you know, Senku reflecting on everything Suka has done by herself and how it's actually more impressive than what he did when he was first woken up. So I really do appreciate that. But alright. Episode 12, Whole New Worlds. A whole new world. I really shouldn't sing. I really, really shouldn't sing. I really love Suka right here. She's no longer just like watching absentmindedly. She is focused on the science. She is watching it. Her science skills have improved by leaps and bounds over the last 5 years. So now she is way more focused. Now she can actually understand a lot of what's going on and learn from it. Moving forward from here, she is going to be a true scientist and someone who can help at least a little bit with stuff like this. Yeah, that was it. That was it. In one day, in like a couple of hours, Senku made nitric acid. Senku made freaking nitric acid. The thing Suka has literally been spending 5 years trying to reproduce. I love it. I absolutely freaking love it. Yeah, I mean, that is the difference between Suka, a more or less self-taught scientist, and Senku, a man with a 21st century education. Sorry, Suka, but you were never going to live up. We saw this, you know, we saw originally Senku had the 3 pieces of paper, which were 3 different methods for creating revival fluid. The first 2 were just way, way beyond her. There were things she couldn't replicate on her own. The third one, the one she did end up using, used animal feces and, like Senku said, was guaranteed to work eventually. It just took a really freaking long time. Whereas this method, the one Senku just made now, it is not nearly as complicated. It's not nearly as time-consuming, I should say, but it is way more complicated and requires steps that Suka was unable to replicate with the limited knowledge that she had. Suka had platinum, still couldn't replicate it. Oh, I do love that. Even after everything she's been through, she can still smile and laugh and act like a little kid, act like just a girl having fun. She's not, overwhelming. Well, oh yeah, she is absolutely overwhelmingly traumatized by what she's been through, but it isn't weighing her down. She's happy. She's finally achieved her goal. She's finally been able to wake everyone up, or she's about to wake everyone up, and she's just so thrilled and giddy about it. Again, you saw that head nod, the head nod. She's listening, she's paying attention. She's thinking to herself like, okay, if this happens again, I will be ready. I will pay attention so that way I don't make the same mistakes. So that way I can wake everyone else up much, much faster. 16 bottles in 16 days. Suka spent 5 years making 1 bottle. Amazing. I do love that Kohaku is the first one they're choosing to revive. The order doesn't really matter all that much, but Kohaku is, someone who is special to Senku, and someone who has always been a big sister to Suka. She's probably the person that Suka wanted to wake up most in the world, but of course she prioritized Senku because Senku, was able to make 16 bottles in 16 days. Kohaku couldn't have done any of that and would have just delayed this process by years and years and years. Also, I think Suka made them all new outfits. Because, did she? Because, I don't think the outfits would have lasted 5 years without, 5 years of just being, 7 years actually being exposed to the elements. And it does look like there are new stitches in Kawaku's shirt I don't recognize from before. So, or at the very least, she probably repaired the outfits. Not sure. Here it is, Suka. Finally. Also, I do love that Suka is the one who gets to wake up Kohaku. Senku's just, in the background watching this, yeah, I'm gonna let these girls have their moment. Also, let's not forget, Kohaku was shot a crazy number of times by Stanley. So obviously not, but there's a good chance, she's just dead and this won't work on her at all. That's not gonna happen, but that would be just tragically hilarious. There we go. She's awake. This is her second time being petrified. I forgot or second or third? Was she? Okay, this is her second time being petrified. She was petrified once on Treasure Island when the whole island was covered. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, okay. God, I'm an idiot. She was petrified on Treasure Island by Ibara alongside Jinro so that Jinro's wounds could be healed through the petrification process. That's what happened. I forgot. There it is. Your big sis is awake, though not so much a big sis anymore. You're pretty much the same height. Yeah, Kohaku is very, very confused in this moment. In the manga, it was one panel, and she's like, "It's you, it's Suka." Here she's like, "Hello, person. Thank you for reviving me. Who might you be, and why are you wearing a melon helmet?" Okay, there it is. Oh, God, she recognized her. Oh, God. Oh, that hurts. That hurts so much. I'm about the same age as you are now, Kohaku. Good lord. Good freaking lord. Also, fully irrelevant, But did Suka end up making her own glasses? Because the glasses she had before were cracked and shot up by Stanley, but these are complete. Did Suka figure out how to make glasses in the 5 years she was alone? Because that would be pretty impressive. That's probably something she paid more attention to when she saw Senku do it, so I don't know. I think that seems plausible for her. I think that seems very plausible and, something that she would definitely prioritize while doing science. Having, well-made, repaired glasses is probably very important for her. I can't ask you to give me a classic Kohaku hug anymore. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Suka has been through so freaking much. Yeah, even after all of that, she is still and forever Suka's big sister and will always give her a hug. I mean, that's what she wanted, right? When she first found Kohaku's statue, she asked for a hug. She hugged the freaking statue. And now she's getting a real hug, a real warm hug from the sister she has not seen in 5 freaking years and wasn't sure if she would ever see again. Also, I will say, Senku, so freaking classy. He knows it's a big moment for Suka and Kohaku, and so he's just sitting in the background, letting them have that moment, not looking nuts, acting, just enjoying the peace, enjoying their happiness from a distance. That is so well done. I absolutely love that. Oh god, just the detail of her dropping the bottle, it rolling away, and her going in for the squeeze. Oh, that is so well done. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, let out the tears. You have been through so freaking much. You deserve to cry. You deserve to grieve. You deserve to mourn for everything that you have been through. Oh god. Senku, Senku, just in the background, letting them have their moment. It's so well done. And yes, absolutely, Suka made Ryu a new hat because he is the captain, and a captain deserves a hat. Also, yeah, everyone else is wearing leaves, so she only made a new outfit for Kohaku and I guess Senku, and it gave Ryu a hat. That is so wild. It also actually raises a very good question. If a person is I'm not going to ask that question, but, you know what I mean? If a person is petrified, then you'd see everything, right? Obviously you don't see it because this isn't like an 18-plus series, but you would see everything, so that's a little bit weird right there. Of course, Francois wakes up with a spin. Absolutely love it. They are seriously they're like a magical girl, magical person. Francois is they, them, but I love it so much. Love the hopping, love the hopping. That is so sweet. No shock from Francois about Suka being, 16, 17 at this point? I love her hop. I love her happy hop. It's amazing. There we go. There we freaking go. We didn't get that in the manga. In fact, in the manga, Ryu's first line is, dealing with the enemy is a topic for another day. For now, let's keep the rival party going. No, here he is acknowledging Suka and praising her for everything she did, because he can tell that she has been through a lot over these last few years. Yeah, really. That's a future problem right there. Let's not focus on reviving the people who tried to murder all of us right in this moment. I love that he made her, I guess that's new hats made out of pumpkin or fabric that looks like a pumpkin. I'm not sure. I love that hats are the priority here. Not clothing, just hats. Oh, God. Yeah, let's not forget Luna kind of royally forked Suka over by throwing the bottle of vital fluid and shattering it. I mean, I know that Suka said, like, oh, if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have found her, but I feel like she would have found her in probably less than 5 years, whereas the other method of actually, waking everyone else up took much, much longer. Oh, still, I really do love this hug. Yay, Taiju's awake. And again, they prioritized Ukyo having a hat over Ukyo having underwear. That is so weird. And Carlos also had a hat but no underwear. Why are hats such a priority here? I feel great every time I'm unpetrified. Yeah, the man's literally doing backflips. I love it. Though I do wish we could have gotten some more focus on, Suka being all grown up, especially from people who have known her since she was a child. I think that would have been nice. That would have been, a good moment to have. That being said, though, Ryu praising her, that was something. That was something to get in the manga, so I'm glad we got it here. Also, just speaking of Ryu, why does he have, like, a full, leaf outfit, but everyone else, all the other guys, just have leaf underwear? What's up with that? What's going on with Ryu's chest that Suka and Senku didn't want everyone else seeing? That is the question right there. Can we keep petrifying someone to keep them alive? I mean, we just dealt with all of this old man's aches and pains and arthritis and damage. Now he's basically good as new. They probably added at least a couple of years to his life by petrifying him, so can they keep doing that? Just like how Suka grew up, you might all catch up to me. So he's at least, acknowledging it, but seriously, this is a little girl you have known literally her entire life. I would like a bigger reaction to her being all grown up and you having missed her childhood. That is the question. I love that question is being asked while they wake up Hyoga with such a serious expression on his face. We can't really revive him with the petrification device once he's dead, right? Can they? Can they? Yeah, right there. That is his first question upon being woken up. The first thing he says, he wants to know, is Hyoga okay? Because I know for a fact, that dude is freaking dead. He was shot to death. I saw him die. I saw his lifeless body. Is he okay? Was the vital fluid able to wake up even him after all of that? For the record, in the manga, Senko has a much bigger reaction to that question. He, looks at him like, okay, if you're asking me that, clearly I know something's up. Clearly I know that Hyoga was in much worse shape than you were when he was turned to stone. It would honestly be hilarious if they woke up Hyoga and he just fell to the ground dead. That's not good. That's not what's going to happen, but it would be just such an absolutely hilarious twist. I kept everyone here to wait for you. Yeah, seriously. She lined them all up. She kept them all in a row so that they'd be here, so that she could easily wake them up once the time came. God. Poor Suka. Love that Senku needs to actually step up to pour it on him. Hyoga's tall, man. Hyoga is crazy tall. And also just, yeah, I know, Hyoga's alive, whatever. I love they covered his face. Again, they prioritized these people's fashion sense over them having actual, real clothing. It's so wild. Yep. Now Tsukasa realizes the truth. He realizes the rival device, petrification of the Medusa, it is god tier. It is literally a god tier piece of equipment. It can revive the freaking dead. if it can do that, then that kind of fully changes what it means to be alive, which is a terrifying thought. Everyone's so excited Hyoga's alive. Like, dudes, Hyoga is a murderer. He's a serial killer. He's an evil person. And you're all just so excited to see him. It's wild. Like, it'd be one thing if they knew he'd been shot a bunch and might be dead, but now they're just so psyched he's back. Just because he's Hyoga. Yeah, thanks, Suka. And again, I wish people had a bigger reaction to Suka being, like, full grown at this point. Just that sigh. Just that sigh. Oh, I love this guy. Love these two. Absolutely love these two. Just literally flying off, leaping 40 feet through the air, and then coming back a few hours later with clothes and meat. They not only hunted a bunch of animals that I don't even know if they exist in the Amazon, but they actually pelted them and turned them into clothing while they were out there. Yeah, just so much leather. I don't know a lot about skinning an animal, but I think the leathering process takes a while, doesn't it? Don't you have to, like, let the leather set or dry or something? But they basically just did it in a day. That's wild. And they made themselves full outfits. Seriously, what's the point of, what's her name, Yuzuharu, Taiju's girlfriend? I mean, her whole thing is like, oh, I can make outfits really quick. Everybody can, girl. Literally, even Taiju and even Tsukasa and Hyoga can make outfits for themselves at the drop of a hat. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Let's not forget that everyone in California, everyone in Japan, everyone on Treasure Island are all still stone statues, and they have to go find them at some point. But for now, they party. Kanpai! Good for them. Oh yeah, I just remembered Senku did actually make alcohol for the revival fluid, so they might actually be getting drunk right now. That would explain the blushing. Oh, Tsukasa is just... Look at that expression on his face. He is so strict right now. He's like, oh, there's something I very much need to talk to Senku about, and I'm not going to smile until that's done. Yeah, good for you. I love the focus on Suka here, just like reflecting on all she's been through. Like, seriously, the manga doesn't really do that much of it. It's like, hey, we woke her up, she has a hug with Kwaku, and that's it. But here, they are really giving her the time, the appreciation for everything she's done. I'm so happy about that. I have said for a long time, that I think I've mentioned this in the last couple of videos, that I felt like Suka's journey in the Amazon should have been a movie in its own, just showing her steps, showing the process, showing how she survived. But I am very glad with what the anime did, with just how they are giving it more attention, so thank God for that. Yeah, like, even this scene right here is not something we got, even this conversation is not something we got in the manga. So I'm so glad, you know, there are, like, yeah, she's been eating on her own for 5 years. She has not had a conversation with another human being in 5 freaking years, or 7 years if you want to count the 2 years she was turned to stone. That is just so much. Always alone. Okay, animators, I think you've been doing a really good job up to this point, but I do think you kind of messed up a little here. Like, the last scene of her chewing on meat in a tree all alone and crying, that really demonstrated it well, but this shot is her smiling while eating a fish. That kind of ruins the whole message you're trying to send here. Just saying. Oh god, I love it. Just being with everyone is enough to make me satisfied. Good for her. After everything she's been through, good for her. Also, I like Max here. He's actually making Luna laugh a little bit. It's good for her. Or good for him, I mean. It's never going to work out between the two of them, but still, good for him. Oh, God. Good for her. Good for freaking her. Oh, I love the focus she's getting. Yeah, really. Kawaku's reflecting on it like, oh god, she has been through so freaking much. She has been through more than I can possibly fathom. To say your heart is full even when your stomach is empty is a little too modest. I love it. I absolutely love it. He's down there to eat up and party and celebrate. Just go plus ultra, basically. Coconut milk fruit soup. Again, fully not in the manga, but I do love it. Like, you know, she's been eating fairly bland meals these last few years, but this is like next level high cuisine cooking right here, which just good for her. Good for her. She finally gets to enjoy some delicious food again. Oh, I definitely relate a bit to here to Suka, because there was a good 2-3 year period where I could not eat anything except the most bland food imaginable. And once that finally ended, once I finally was able to start, you know, gorging on delicious food again, it was heavenly. Absolutely freaking heavenly. So yeah, Suka, eat up and enjoy. Feast, girl, feast. You deserve it. Oh, she's adorable and I love her. Yeah, seriously, the first actual meal she's had in 5 or 7, depending on how you count it, freaking years. Good for her. Yeah, of course it's delicious. It's Francois' freaking cooking, girl. The best meal I've ever had. First meal where she's not alone. Again, so much more focus on Suka here than the manga. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, of course Luna's gonna go for a hug with Senku, and yeah, I think these guys really are drunk at this point. I think they are actually drinking alcohol because she looks drunk. I mean, she looks drunk quite often, but she really looks drunk right here. Of course, Shinro is telling tall tales. I mean, it's not that tall of a tale. He did try to fight he fought off a lot of soldiers on his own. That was very impressive. But when it came to Stanley, he could not hold a candle to the freaking dude. Amazing. Also, that scene was also not in the manga. So again, they're adding a lot to this party, this celebration. It's so good. I love it. I don't think that explanation really makes all that much sense, but, you know, it's Senku's crack marks. They are iconic. They are part of his identity, and they are part of his vow to just, you know, keep them, to stay petrified, and to keep the scars of the petrification until he's managed to beat the Y-Man and save all of humanity. So I'm glad they're still there. Yeah, right there. When the mentalist tells you, like, a random fact, he's saying a lot more than that. He's telling him that Tsukasa wants to have a very, very important conversation. I love that Tsuka's the one that noticed that, but yeah, and now we have the mentalist doing a whole magic show to distract everyone from what's going on. I mean, that is his specialty, you know? Big, fancy performance in front of you so you don't notice him stealing your wallet. Seriously, I love that he had time to set up for a magic show in the day he's been revived. That's wild. It also helps that his audience is really freaking drunk right now. Oh, Suga, she is so into this. She is so happy. I'm so happy for her. Yoga's asleep. Yoga's fully asleep. Was he asleep? Yeah, okay, he was asleep in the manga too. Just like one panel. I mean, the man did die. Let him rest a little. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense he hasn't really thought about that because Katsuki is fit as a fiddle. He is energetic. He is happy. He is excitable. He doesn't act like an old man does. He is strong. Even before his first petrification, he was unusually spry for an old man in a Stone Age era, or even a modern day era. So it makes sense why I didn't really think like, hey, Kasuki's gonna die before any of us, probably. Yep, there it is, the big reveal. Hyoga did actually freaking die, and then came back to life. The Medusa can literally revive the dead. I saw some people online saying before, like, well, obviously it's gonna be able to revive the dead because it revived Hyoga when he was dead, when he was, when he was frozen, which is technically dead, but not really dead since all the cells in his body are still mostly okay. And it cured his sister, who was essentially brain dead. But the question really was, like, hey, can it revive someone whose heart has stopped, whose body has begun the decay process? Can it revive someone in a state like that? And now we know it can. It can literally bring you back to life even after your heart has stopped beating, your brain has stopped functioning. It can literally keep everyone in the world alive, possibly indefinitely. It may have just made the world immortal. It may have just made a world of immortal beings, which is wild. Yep, that's also the case. Senku's neck was literally broken. He was dead for a couple of seconds before they revived him, and it still worked. Suspend animation, it depends how much real damage that caused to his body, but he was essentially dead too. Now they know, though, the Medusa can nullify even death itself. That's wild. We inadvertently confirmed the hypothesis with an experiment that cost us our lives. Yeah, we had to die to make sure, but now we know for sure. Now we know as a fact the Medusa can nullify death. Ooh, I like how that's worded. Petrification denies even death itself. In the manga they said petrification can even nullify death, but deny death. That's a wild thing to say. Humankind's greatest scientific taboo. I love this. Oh, I love this. I mean, we see it kind of in the manga, but just kind of like up in the corner of the page. Here it's like, yeah, this is the forbidden fruit. This is the thing that will literally make us immortal. This is power. This is terrifying. This is everything that science has always strived to obtain. The power where no one ever has to die again. Yay! They're eternal! They will never, ever, ever die. That is a wild thing to say. And also, I've been wondering for a bit, like, what happened to the people who, like, died before the Y-Man petrified the planet? Like, if they went to a morgue, would everyone there who hadn't been, like, embalmed, would they just be, like, stone statues they could revive and wake up? Or what's the deal with that? Because I think it would be very interesting if they found someone who was turned to stone, woke them up, and they're like, oh my god, I died. Like, I fully died. I remember, I got shot. There's no way I'm still alive. That might be a very traumatizing experience for everyone involved. Right, also now we've just reached chapter 198, A Whole New World, which is also the name of this episode. Surprise! Okay, that's one way of saying it. In the manga, he just shouts, bad! Okay, Chrome, I know you're drunk, but that's a bit of a potty mouth right there. Yep, Kasuki is immortal. Kasuki will be with you for the rest of eternity. You know, maybe. All hail Y-Man. Oh god, yeah, that's a good question. If the Y-Man's technology can actually make everyone immortal, maybe he's actually just a super nice dude who's trying to help humanity out.
おー、なんか怖えから悪者にしてただけでよ。実は超いいやつなんじゃねえの？いや、俺らのことまとめて石に。
Yeah, that is the question. If the Y Man's technology is actually meant to help humanity, why does he keep petrifying all of humanity over and over and over again? What is his game? What is he playing? Is he trying to force humanity to adapt to this technology? Is he saying that only those who wake up are worthy of living in the new future? What is it he's trying to say by petrifying humanity? Or is this all a big game to him? Like he petrifies them and says, okay, let's see how long it takes them to wake up this time. 3,000 years. Oh, I think they can do better. Let's try that again. Oh, only 7 years this time. Good for them. Good for them. Yeah, that's the thing. They have to go. That's been the plan all along. They want to go to the moon. Actually, I got into a weird argument with someone online who's only watched the anime. He's like, well, I don't get why they're trying to go to the moon. Because the Y Man is trying to petrify them. He dropped Medusas on the entire planet. He petrified the entire planet, and then he dropped more on Treasure Island, and ever since Senku called out to him, he's been trying to petrify all of humanity again via radio waves. Y-Man is trying to petrify them, actively attacking them with a device that will keep them alive forever, which confusing, but still, they need answers. They need to go talk to the Y-Man and figure out what's going on there. Yeah, they need to go to the moon, and they have a literal freaking rocket scientist to help them with that. Huzzah! Also, I do love that the X is literally part of the statue. Somehow the crack scars are so deep you can see them on his petrified face. That makes no sense. I don't think you can see it in the manga, but oh god. It's so Xeno. It's so extra. Moon tourism specialist. That is such a wild way of describing a rocket scientist. And of course, Senku is just so casual about unpetrifying the man who has been trying to murder him for the last year. Well, okay, it was 7 years ago, but the man spent a good chunk of time trying to murder Senku. Yeah, right there. That's the entire reason why Stanley let himself be petrified, why he didn't do that last wild, desperate, insane move of shooting the viral fluid, because he wanted to make sure that he could be the hostage, that Xeno could freely do science so long as everyone continued to, basically threaten him, to use him as an excuse, like, hey, Xeno, do the science stuff that you love, or we'll hurt your childhood friend. And then Xeno can happily do it. And everyone would trust Xeno to do it because they know that he would not risk Stanley's life. It is a good compromise for all involved. Stanley is happy to be a hostage, to be held back, to be imprisoned for as long as it takes. It means that Xeno can go free and do what he loves. Yeah, seriously, now that immortality is on the table, that changes pretty much everything. I love just the smug expression on his face. Like, yes, you woke me up just like I knew you would. What elegant, depraved science that violates the providence of nature. Okay, Dr. Frankenstein, tone it down a little bit. Okay, just gotta double check, but yeah, they changed his crack scars. They're no longer as deep as they were before, now just the edges of them. That's interesting. Is that like trying to imply that he is less evil than he was before? He is less tainted by darkness and depravity, and he's actually going to be a good guy moving forward? I don't know. It's definitely interesting, though. And yeah, Chrome is very confused what they mean by depraved and evil, because this man has no history of science fiction, of worlds where humanity are, in fact, immortal, because we've written about that a lot over the years, and it's seldom good. There was that one movie, what was it called, In Time or whatever, with, God, I'm fully blanking his name, where basically humanity is immortal, but because there are a limited number of resources, everybody just uses time as currency, and if your time runs out, you die. But if you're rich and you have all the time in the world, you can literally live 1,000,000 years, and remain as young as you looked when you hit like 21 or something. So yeah, it's seldom good when humanity reaches that point because there are still limited resources to go around. People are still greedy, so of course those on top are immortal forever, living in luxury, while those on the bottom starve to death or have to live in filth and grime, whatever. Even if they are immortal, even if they can't die, they still aren't living good lives. Or I think it was episode of, was it Love, Death, and Robots, where humanity is immortal, but it is illegal to have children because then, things will get a little dicey, resources will become a little bit scarce, and so it's a crime to have kids. I mean, I think it's actually, I know that sounds awful, that's probably the best way of dealing with immortality. Just like, okay, everyone in the world is immortal now, nobody's having any more kids, or if you do, you can have kids, but then when they turn 18, you have to die or something. Oh, that sounds grim. That is probably the best way of dealing with immortality. Oh, God. Jinro's passed out drunk or was hit or something, poor guy. Katsuki's just waving it off and Suka's so concerned. Seriously, that would be just such awful luck for Suka. She has all of this. She saves all of humanity. She revives all her friends. And then Jinro dies in a drunken mishap that very night. Oh, poor Suka. To never die is equal to death itself, or something even more dreadful. Oh, that is a hard-hitting line from Tsukasa right there. Love it. This is such a darker panel in the manga. Seriously, here it just looks kind of funny. In the manga, it is like something straight out of a nightmare. But yeah, this is the cast in 100, 200, 300 years. If they truly are immortal, if they truly can't die, maybe they will continue to age until they become decrepit old farts who can barely shuffle around. Or even if Medusa can actually keep them alive and in perfect health, keep them basically young forever, even then, eventually resources will get limited and decisions will need to be made. Even if everyone can live forever, can the planet survive everyone living forever, or will they start needing to purge people? I love this. I absolutely love this king on a throne deciding who lives and who dies. That's amazing. Not in the manga, but yeah, it's still amazing. Oh, that's even worse. Not even just saying like they will be purged, they'll just be turned to stone forever because humanity, can't survive. Humanity can't survive with everyone being alive, so we'll just turn you to statues and maybe wake you up in a few billion years when we figured out this whole food problem. Oh, that's grim. Yeah, again, that's the whole debate right here. Every time that, Katsuki gets petrified, he wakes up feeling livelier and better than ever, and he's more or less not aged since he was first introduced, but does that mean that it can hold off cellular deterioration forever? If they keep petrifying him like once a year, will he stay in tip-top condition, or will he age? Will eventually reach a point where even the Medusa can't fix the damage of aging? They don't actually know that yet. All they do know is that Medusa can cure death. So if you die, you can just come back to life. There's no such thing as an incurable illness or a fatal injury anymore because you can just be petrified and it can be undone. Oh, okay, I say that, but I guess there's technically like genetic illnesses because technically the petrification does not cure Suka's nearsightedness because that is part of her. It's not something that is damaged. The Medusa only seems able to basically push things backwards, to push time backwards and allow a person to enter a state they were in before their injury. So yeah, I don't think it could cure genetic ailments, but for the most part, most illnesses will be treated very, very easily just through the act of petrification. How would you even investigate that? Seriously, that feels like it'd be a very long process of just continuously petrifying Katsuki and seeing at what point does he start to age again, at what point does his body start to get older or something like that. But even then, that would take decades to figure out, maybe centuries, depending on how effective the Medusa actually is at undoing the aging process. Yeah, seriously. No duh, no duh. I mean, people are probably going to die during the whole process of, fixing, reviving the entire planet. Before they establish rules, before they figure out what to do with the Medusa, people are going to die, either from just old age, if they were old when they were originally petrified, injuries, ailments, anything like that. And so, of course, they're going to be desperate to get their hands on the Medusa, and the thing that could make them immortal, and the thing that could ensure that they're able to keep going, their loved ones will never die. It's literally immortality. Of course, people will fight over it, and of course, they should keep this a really close-kept secret. Dr. Stone. I really do love that Medusa is Dr. Stone. Such a wild thing to name it. Well, he is a rocket scientist. He is very useful in getting to the moon, so it's no surprise they woke him up, but they do have another reason for that. Silence. Absolute and complete silence. The Y-Man isn't sending out the signal anymore. The Y-Man accomplished what he wanted. He petrified all of humanity, and now that humanity is not up and running, as far as he knows, he is fine with remaining silent and waiting. Why? Why did he do this? Why does he want all of humanity turned to stone so badly? What is his big endgame? Either way, now they know that this is his endgame. He wants humanity turned to stone. He is actively trying to turn them to stone. So, yeah, they are very much spooked in this moment. Yeah, so basically, hey, Xeno, I know you don't like me. I know you don't like the way that I'm going to try and run humanity moving forward, but the Y-Man is trying to turn all of us to freaking stone. He is an enemy of all of humanity, so we need to align ourselves. We need to work together to actually freaking stop him. Yeah, seriously, even if Xeno took over, all of humanity is immortal now. Even if Xeno took over, all of humanity became an absolute dictator, he would still be helpless before the Y-Man. He still needs to work with everyone else. He needs to prioritize the Y-Man over prioritizing the control of all of humanity, because the Y-Man is a bigger threat. If he prioritizes becoming a dictator, then the Y-Man will just petrify him all over again. So, yeah, they gotta work together. Yeah, seriously, it's, hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and right now the Y-Man is the biggest enemy that humanity has, so of course they'll work together. Also, Xeno is just really excited about the thought of building a freaking rocket ship with Stone Age technology. That is a wild thing to do. Yeah, weirdly, Stanley's leather suit... Is that Stanley's leather suit, or is that crack scars? In the manga, it looked more like a shattered leather suit, but... I don't know. It's also over his face and everything, so I really don't know what's going on with Stanley right here and what it is he's covered with. That is a good question. I mean, for the most part, he adhered to the rule of warfare when it came to Suka and Francois, and when Francois argued that Suka was acting as a civilian doctor, Stanley didn't fire them. Stanley didn't hurt them. Stanley didn't hurt Jinro or Matsukaze either. It was only when he was attacked, or when he realized that he was about to be attacked, that he actually went on the offensive and started, trying to murder children, which, that is questionable right there. I mean, if a child is trying to kill you, I do think you have the legal recourse to kill them, even on the battlefield, if they are acting as a combatant, or, I don't know, it's definitely up in the air. You could argue a lot of things. I'd love to see, Legal Eagle try and handle this and debate whether or not Stanley was justified in his actions, but it's very unlikely. Yeah, that's another reason why Xeno's going to want to work with them. Once they revive humanity, they'll just say, if Xeno works with them and they all revive humanity, then everyone here will testify that Stanley's actions were justified via the laws of warfare, whether or not they actually were. Then Stanley can be revived and go on to live a normal, happy life. But if Xeno works against them, they'll say that Stanley is a war criminal and they will arrest him.
違う。
ゼの仲間に引き込んで
Well, Xeno is a NASA scientist and they're trying to go to the moon. I do think they want him on their side.
ゼノが裏切るとかはねえ気が
Yeah, and again, there is the whole thing with the Y-Man. The Y-Man's trying to petrify all of humanity. He is an enemy of everyone. Therefore, Xeno won't betray them because he wants to stop the Y-Man.
すんぜ
Yeah, really. Basically, Xeno wants to work with him, especially because the Y-Man is a threat to all of humanity, especially himself. So by them threatening Stanley, by them holding him hostage, they're able to basically say, like, oh, Xeno is only working with us because we're holding him hostage. And that way he can maintain his dignity and still seem like he is a gruff, evil, mad scientist.
こういう儀式。
てめえも
Yeah, and of course, Jen has already unraveled the entire situation and knows exactly what's going on here. He's figured it all out already, because of freaking course he has.
しかして昨日のあれ聞いてたのかよ
And Chrome, that is such loud whispering in such a massive crowd of people. And literally a crowd that encompasses all of humanity right here.
ああ、何の話？
That is such a confident look on Stanley's face. Like him basically saying, like, yeah, I trust Xeno to save me, I trust Xeno to wake me up, I'm sure it's all gonna be okay.
できるね
I love it. A full-blown conversation through a stone carapace, through a petrified person. It's so amazing. Yeah, he knows exactly what Stanley's thinking. He knows exactly why Stanley took that cool, calm, casual pose when it seemed like he was about to be petrified. Well, right before he was petrified, because he trusted, because he knew what was going to happen, and he had faith in Xeno doing what Xeno was going to do moving forward. Jesus freaking Christ. Yeah, anybody who says these two are just platonic friends is out of their goddamn mind. That is bedroom eyes right there. That is absolute bedroom eyes right there. Jesus Christ, Xeno. And again, that is the light in his eyes that he only shows when he's talking about science. The one thing that makes him happy, well, apparently other than Stanley. Yeah, seriously, Senku and Xeno, student and teacher, finally working on the same freaking page. I do love the cut-to-cut, because here, you know, before the petrification, Senku was so much shorter than him, but in the modern day, they are the same height. They're standing almost shoulder to shoulder. They are essentially equals. It looks so good. Alright, so that was Rio. Okay, in the manga, it was definitely implied it was Ryu. We actually even give him like a little salute to Stanley as he walks away. But in the manga, but in the anime right here, you saw that it was Xeno who's looking down at Stanley's cigarette. So I assumed I was wrong. Maybe Stanley was, maybe Xeno was the one who gave it to him. But no, it was Ryu. A very noble gesture from one captain to another. Yeah, there it is. That's the salute. Like him saying, like, hey, I acknowledge you, Stanley. You are crazy, strong, powerful, conniving, brilliant. You did a good job trying to kill us all. And just, you know, you can trust Xeno to us moving forward. This is such a dramatic panel in the manga. Seriously. The coat is just so long and just, like, pushes into oblivion. But also, it's Xeno walking from the darkness into the light. He is embracing the good side now. He is on the side of the heroes. He's on the side of good. He's not going to try to murder anyone anytime soon, you know, hopefully. Hopefully. Dr. Xeno has joined the party. Thank freaking God. Seriously, thank freaking God. Again, they are trying to go to the moon. NASA scientists, super helps with this. Love them working together, the arguing, the fighting, the discussing, the scientific everything as they are finally working together. There it is. That is the rocket engine they met in front of all those years ago for the first time, and now it's their turn to freaking build it. I love these two. Oh god, this wasn't the manga. I love it so much. Just they are so out of their depth throughout this entire conversation. They are the third and fourth best scientists in the entire world right now, and they just can't hold a candle. They can't be part of this conversation because they are just too far back from everything. They can't get involved, but they want to. They are blown away by this. Oh god, I love them so much, and I'm very excited for just what comes next with all four of them. It took these two 3,700 years before they could actually work together, before they could actually get on the same freaking page, and I love it. It has been a very, very, very long journey to reach this point. I mean, it's been at least like 8 or 9 years since they left Japan. That's wild. Yeah, really. I mean, seriously. Kawaku had never been just basically outside her village. The farthest she had gone was to the spring to get hot water for her sister, but since then, just she has crossed seas, scaled mountains, and about to go into freaking goddamn space. She's about to go to the moon, something that would have sounded totally impossible to her for the first 16 years, 17 years, 20 years of her life. I do think it's definitely reflective of humanity. If I remember correctly, like, we went to space, like, within 50 or 60 years... Wait, let me double check this. Yeah, seriously, the telephone was invented in 1876, and we went to space in 1961. People were born in a world without telephones, and were still alive when we went to space. That is basically what Kawaku is feeling in this moment. A rush of scientific revolution that is far beyond anything she could have ever imagined. At long last, we take it one step at a time. As long as we take it one step at a time, we'll get there. Love this anime original line because it's so absolutely perfect. I mean, that's what she has done. She took science one step at a time for 5 freaking years until she finally reached a point where she could revive everyone. So just thank God and good for her. Honestly, it is not that complicated of a map considering everything they've had to build up to this point. Though, of course, everything on this map is going to have a map of its own. Let me try to go through this. So we start off with digging for rare metals, which then gives us super alloys. Inconel stainless steel, haste alloy, never heard of half of those. Use those to form a high-powered dynamo. Get aluminum from there and form the rocket engine. Also need the actual, engine itself, along with a liquid oxygen producer and oil and a computer. Oh, I'm very excited for computer. That's actually my favorite parts in this entire series. And then over here we get fluorine, thorium, plastic, glass, rubber, and level those up to 99, which combined with the rocket engine, we'll eventually get a freaking spaceship! Huzzah! Good for them! It took me a concerning amount of time to realize that the giant tower they built in the middle of the base they had was actually designed to look like a spaceship. That is so extra and I love it. The future of 7.8 billion people. Yeah, Senku throwing it literally looks like Senku's punching the moon, punching the Y-Man up on the moon. It's beautiful and I love it. Yeah, he looks psyched. He looks genuinely psyched in this moment. And, why shouldn't he? This is going to be amazing. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be exhilarating. He's going to the freaking moon. That's insane. It's very weird that we're getting credits. And also the credits are going back to these three. Because the credits 2 episodes ago were focused on Suka and her, journey to survive in the Amazon, but now we're focused back on these guys. And why do we even have credits? I really figured they just have the credits playing over Senku's final speech or whatever. We could have gotten more. We could have gotten more bits and pieces here, but I guess that is probably the better way to end this episode with that declaration, with the map of the spaceship and getting ready to move forward to the final phase of their plan. Wait. Next episode, future. Wait, was this the final episode of... This was the final episode of part 2, wasn't it? Or Are there 13 episodes? I might be an idiot here. I genuinely don't know. I need to double check this. Okay. So I double checked and does definitely look like Future Engine is the name of the first episode of Core 3, which, thank God. I really thought I messed up the episode count and there was going to be a 13th episode after this. Which sounds insane, but I absolutely did that with Apocalypse Springer. Great anime of the season. You should definitely check it out if you haven't. I thought they were ending in episode 12. Everyone seemed to think they were ending in episode 12. But then they found out, oh no, there's actually a secret 13th episode that nobody saw coming, which, thank God, because I did not like where episode 12 ended things. But alright, so, wild tangent aside, that was the end of Core 2. Now we have only 12 or 13 episodes left. The final Core, which premieres, I already saw online, in 2026. No surprise there, it's already September. And we know it's not premiering in the winter anime season, so of course we're going to have to wait until next year. Absolutely makes sense. Now that all being said, though, I'm actually very concerned about the third Core because we have 33 chapters left to go of the manga, and for the most part, this series follows a very predictable pattern of 2 chapters of the manga per episode of the anime. In fact, you can usually see where the transition happens because that is the, title card, commercial break, whatever. But, now we have 33 chapters to be covered in 12 episodes. I mean, we can handle 24 episodes, that makes sense, but 33 means they're really going to rush through things. And it's not like they haven't done that before. In fact, the battle for Fort Medusa, a lot of those episodes involved with it were 3 chapters per episode. So it's possible, but I don't think that's going to work here because people already said, manga readers already said, the ending of Dr. Stone, the last chunk of it, in fact, everything after this point, felt so rushed in the manga. It felt like they were just rushing from point A to point B to point C to point D to point B, like, hey, it's over, huzzah. And that's not what we want with the final Core. We don't want them to rush that even more and try to force their way through so much content because, again, we wanted the opposite. We wanted more episodes. We wanted them to take their time, to slow down, to focus on some of the storylines and plot points and elements. But now it seems like they're just going to rush through it even more quickly than they did with this season. And not that this season was rushed, but you know what I mean. They're going to adapt more content next season than they did with this season, even though that content already felt rushed in the manga. And that is not what we want. That's very, very bad. So, yeah, I'm very concerned about that. A lot of people are very concerned about that. A lot of manga readers are very concerned about that. But for now, let's just focus on the good things. I really, really did love what they did with this episode, last couple episodes, when it came to Suka. They gave her so much more attention and focus these episodes than the manga gave her. I mean, this girl went through so freaking much in the last 5-7 years, and the manga just like, alright, she did it, good job, let's move on. I mean, there's this hug, and then it's basically just not addressed at all ever again. And Suka doesn't even really appear in the next chapter or 2. She's kind of like in the background. Here, they made her a focus. Here, there was the whole moment where she had like the meal that Francois made her, and she cried, and she worried about Jinro. And she even got one of the last lines in the episode saying like, hey, if we keep taking the steps and moving forward, eventually we will reach our goal, just like I did. That was beautiful. That was a great way of ending it and a great way of respecting a character that the manga just kind of forked over a little bit here. No hatred to the author or the artist, but they could have done a little bit better with Suka, I think, during all of this. And I'm so glad we got to see that in the anime. It really ups the anime just so much, in my opinion. And if they are willing to do that, if they are able to see that this is what the fans want, my hope is that they will find a way to make all of the future content fit in the few number of chapters we have left. And hopefully, once everything is said and done, we even get some more, because there is some post-content. Once the manga's over, there's a whole other chapter about Senku doing something else crazy. Actually really love that chapter. It's fun. It's, just a special one-shot, terraforming, that's what it's called. And there is a whole other spin-off called Dr. Stone 4D, which I never actually covered. I meant to cover it, but I got really busy at that point, so I just never got around to it. Either way, though, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful they will cover that content in OVA or movie after the series wraps up, after it closes. But, we will see what happens. So, yeah, let me think all this down below. What do you think of this episode? What do you think of Suka? What do you think of working with Xeno? If you are a manga reader, what do you think of the changes they made here? If you aren't, if you're an anime only, what do you think's gonna happen next? What is the secret of the Y Man? Why is he trying to petrify all of humanity? Either way, I'm so excited to see this series come back in 2026. So until then, thanks for watching, and apologies, this video is a day late. I just got really distracted and fully forgot it was Thursday, but thank you again. And until next time, peace!